How's it going, guys and gals? This is Anthony, and today we're back at it with a new video on the channel. We'll be talking about Wrestlepalooza and my review of the event. Obviously, this was live from Indianapolis, Indiana. This is the first Wrestlepalooza since the late 90s when it was done by WCW. I know this is gonna be a nitpick, and it's gonna be a stupid nitpick, but I have to say it. It's raining, but I don't care. If you're gonna make Wrestlepalooza an annual event, at least do it the same weekend as the Lollapalooza, not the month after. Now we can continue with the video. If you like this type of content, before we continue, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So sorry, but here we go. The show kicked off with John Cena facing Brock Lesnar. And obviously, as you can see here, Brock went over because it was a glorified squash match. And I know people are mad about it being a glorified squash match, but remember, Cena only has Crown Jewel, 2 appearances on Raw in November 10th and November 17th, respectively, Survivor Series, and then Saturday Night's Main Event on Washington, D.C. on December 13th. He only has 5 appearances left. He wasn't gonna appear between Wrestlepalooza and Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. So why would he make an appearance? I mean, why would he win if it wasn't gonna be in television for the next 3 weeks? You needed a way to write him off television, and Brock Lesnar coming out and practically squashing him with 8 F5s was the right decision. I loved it. You could see the character work between those two guys. John Cena, 1 F5, he's not giving up. Brock Lesnar had to give 8 for Cena to finally succumb to the punishment. Brock Lesnar looked dominant after the match, attacking him again, attacking the referee. Brock Lesnar came back, and he is a destroyer. The only thing that I'm gonna say that kind of ruined this match for me is that John Cena walked out on his own. He did not walk out with help. He did not go out on a stretcher. And for me, that ruined a little bit of the match for me, but it was mostly the post-match and the match itself. It needed what it needed to be to explain why Cena is gonna be 3 weeks off television. So whoever didn't like this doesn't understand. I can understand why people don't like it, but if you didn't understand why they did it, you don't understand the wrestling business at all. And obviously this match was head to head against Kyle Fletcher against Hangman Page on AEW All Out, and they were beating the hell out of each other, and the crowd wasn't reacting. This business is less is more. They did less here, and it meant so much more. You had kids on the crowd crying. Brock Lesnar making kids cry. That is the greatest heel achievement in the wrestling business. Making kids cry. This was Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18, all over again. They didn't need to do much because they already had the crowd on the palm of their hands. And ladies and gentlemen, when you have the crowd on the palm of your hands, you freaking made it in the wrestling business. So these two guys did what they had to do. Perfect. And as we know, Kyle Fletcher has always said that he's kind of a Cena mark. So obviously I think he went back and watched this match, and I think he's gonna learn from that. But right now Fletcher is not ready. He's gonna be there in a couple of years, because he said that he listens to Cena promos to see what he to cap so he can watch tape of what Cena does during a promo, what makes a crowd boo you, what makes a crowd cheer for you. And he said that on his interview on Busted Open Radio. So I know Fletcher is gonna go back here and watch it and say, maybe this is the way to go long term. So it's gonna be a learning experience for wrestlers, for up and coming wrestlers. So everything they did here, perfect. Next up, we have the Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Nothing to say here. This was a raw match because ever since WrestleMania, we've seen Jey Uso fighting either combination of Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, CM Punk, or LA Knight fighting Braun and Bronson. So like this was a Raw main event. So whatever. I mean, the only worthy thing to talk about here is Jey Uso busted himself open because he hit his head with the leg of the chair when he gave Braun Breaker a chair shot and he got concussed. And they rushed to the finish. So the medics could attend to him and he could not walk on his own to the back. And he's on concussion protocol. So I hope Jay is okay. And it's just, a couple of weeks off. And then he's back on television. But that's the only thing I can talk about in this match. So, cool. And now we're here for the match of the night. Io Sky, Stephanie Baker, vacant Women's World Championship on the line. What can I say? These two ladies stole the show. It was Babyface versus Babyface. They didn't advance any storylines here. And what I mean storylines, I mean Io Sky with the Kabuki Warriors. You know what I mean? Like that storyline of dissension between the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky and Rhea Ripley was not advanced here. They just let these two ladies wrestle. And obviously, one thing that surprised me was that at the beginning of the match, Io Sky was working a little bit heelish, and Stephanie was working from underneath, which really surprised me because Io is a much better babyface than a heel, and Stephanie Baker was a heel in CMLL. So I thought, okay, babyface versus babyface, maybe they're gonna let Stephanie be more dominant and Io be the one that works from underneath. No, but that was a welcome surprise for me. And then Stephanie did a little bit of a comeback, and then it was back and forth from there. And then Baker became a little bit more dominant, acting a little bit more heelish, and then Io was the one working from underneath. And when they did the yay boo spot, you could hear the people cheering Io and booing Stephanie. Yay for Io, boo for Stephanie. Like they worked the crowd excellently. Words cannot describe this match. Fast forward, I mean, Stephanie did that shoulder breaker, finished that she does 1, 2, Io kicks out, and obviously the story of the match at the end was Stephanie attacking Io's right knee. That was the beginning of the end for Io. And Stephanie won with the spiral tap, which used to be AJ Styles' signature back in TNA. For the 1, 2, 3, Stephanie Baker wins the Women's World Championship, becomes the first Chilean-born superstar to win a championship, a world championship in WWE. She gets out of the ring, gives the title to her father. Her father lifts off the title, and I am so teary eyed. I was about to cry seeing that moment. For me, that was the moment of the night. And for me, that was the moment of the night. And the next two matches, we're gonna have a hard time following this match. Were they successful? Let's see. The mixed tag team match, the women's IC champion Becky Lynch, the world heavyweight champion Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and the returning AJ Lee after a decade of retirement. We know what this match was gonna be. They were gonna get the heat on Punk. They were gonna build and build and build and build for the moment that Punk tagged AJ, and they did it. And once AJ tagged in, Becky did a perfect work of the chicken shit heel. Oh, no. And then, AJ came in like a house of fire. Boom, 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 boom. And then after that, it was just, Rollins tripping AJ, preventing her from attacking Becky. Punk preventing Becky to kick her and put her in a sharpshooter. Then Becky reverted the sharpshooter. Now she has CM Punk on a sharpshooter. And at that time, AJ had was telling Rollins, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" Like, this was a fun match. And obviously the finish came in when AJ put the Black Widow on Becky Lynch, and Becky tapped out, and we see the husbands, and we see Punk and AJ celebrating. And now we need to start thinking, maybe for Crown Jewel, it's Becky and AJ for the women's IC title. Was this better than Io versus Baker? No. Was this able to follow it up? At least the crowd didn't die. At least they put a match right after that people cared about. Excuse me, I was drinking some water. And now for the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre came out. He looks like $1 million. Then when he's waiting for Cody's entrance, the crowd is chanting Cody, 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 Cody. The soccer chant Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody, Cody Rhodes. So, and then Cody comes out and he looks like $1 million. This is why he's the face of the company. This is why he's a professional. We have two professionals here. We know at least it's gonna be a decent match, and it was a good match. And obviously it wasn't better than Io and Baker. So but it was decent. The crowd didn't die. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Triple H and Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 18 where the crowd was dead. It wasn't like comparing with Hangman and Fletcher where the crowd was dead in a freaking world title match. This is why I always tell people less is more. Let the crowd guide you through the match. The crowd will tell you if they care or not. But obviously this match suffered from build-up because Cody was filming Street Fighter, but now he's back. I was really surprised when Cody hit the Cody Cutter very early in the match, and I was like, is he squashing Drew? What the hell? But thank God it wasn't the case. I mean, there was a spot here where I thought that was gonna be the finish, where this was a great fall finish. The Claymore kick and Cody kicks out at 2. I thought that was excellent. Also Drew getting out of the way from the Cody cutter. And obviously the most important part of the match here was the finish. They're both out of the ring. Cody is in front of the announce table, in crawling. Drew looks at him. It's the exact same spot where Drew Claymore him, and he's thinking about it, but the ref is telling him, if you do this, you're disqualified, and Cody wins the match. Drew is like, I don't care. Cody gets out of the way, Claymore through the table, and they explain in kayfabe that Drew McIntyre either electrocuted himself or something like that. I did not understand Michael Cole's explanation, but that gave way for Cody to do the Crossroads 1, 2, 3, retains the title in a good match. Could have been better, but it was very hard to follow up Io versus Bakar. So for me, this was a decent show. I mean, if you take out the mixed tag and the women's world title match, I would have said this was a bad show. But it was decent. If I had to give a grade, I would say C- or C. 6.5 to 7 out of 10. That's my grade. So as I always say, guys, if you like this type of content, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. But before I go, there's already 2 matches confirmed for Crown Jewel in Australia. Contrary to the rumors, the Crown Jewel title matches are back for Crown Jewel. Obviously, we are gonna have, it's already confirmed, we're gonna have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins part 4. And obviously Seth is gonna win that one because he has to get his win back. And obviously Stephanie Bakar versus the winner of this Friday's triple threat match between Tiffany, Jade, and Nia. So share these beautiful moments with your families, create beautiful memories, because life's too short, but those memories last a lifetime. As always, this is Anthony signing off. Bye bye.